Hello there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we're going to try and fix up this Apple Magic Keyboard. So this was sent in a long time ago by a viewer named Daniel, and he says here, firstly, I'd like to say I love your channel. I've been a subscriber for a long time. Keep up the good work, especially doing vintage games, etc. Please find enclosed an Apple wireless keyboard that belonged to my brother. The O key stopped working one day, so he went out and bought another one. He gave me this one because he knows I like to tinker with stuff. I opened it up well over 12 months ago and never got any further with it. I damaged the board a little. You will see this enclosed with the keycap. Should be an easy fix for a man of your talents. Thank you very much, Daniel. So he has sent in a tiny bit of board here and the key as well. Weirdly though, obviously after all this time I knew the battery was going to be completely dead. When I plugged it in, it was only measuring 0.02 amps, but it quickly grew to 0.4 and now it's gone down to 0.24 after maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. So you can see it must be taking a charge, but this is completely dead. When I turn it on here, I've tried connecting it up to an iPad, I've tried connecting it up to my PC, I've even used the lead, so not relying on Bluetooth, I've used the lead straight into my PC. It's not recognised at all. There should be a little green light that comes on here. So it should be in pairing mode now, but the keyboard seems to be completely dead. So I'm wondering if there's more than just a problem with the O. Maybe that bit of snap board is actually very important. So let's bring it over to the mat, take it apart, which it is already nearly apart, and let's see what's going on the inside. See if we can get it working. If we can get it working, then we'll have a look at why the O stopped working. Right, I've been sidetracked. It's probably about 45 minutes later, and you can see it's actually gone off. So it is fully charged. If I liven it up again, it will probably draw up very little. You can see there 0.1 of an amp. So why are you not coming alive? Take it out there. So I think there may be a problem with the switch up here. Now, luckily for me, Daniel's already done the hard work and it's all apart here. Model number of this is A1644. Oh, here we go. Is that water damage? Where's the switch? Ah, switch is up here. That might be water damage, possibly. So let's undo the screws here. Let's take the board out, and then, well, I'll tell you what, let's disconnect the battery. Should we try to measure the battery? I'm just going to go on the outer two. 4.2 volts. So you can see it's fully charged because this is a 3.7 volt battery. So fully charged it would be 4.2-ish. Right, so this should be safe to work on now. So we have a massive ribbon cable here, another ribbon cable here. Maybe, so that ribbon cable is going to be to do with the charging, but I still want to know how this gets all the way to here. Let's undo these little screws here. Actually, it's Torx 3, I think. I need to find out where the board is broken as well. Right, so the board's loose there. Let's try to undo that ribbon cable. So that's for the charging point. We're out. And this must be for all the actual, there we go, for all the keys themselves. Right, it's broken here. Let's zoom right in here and see if we have any traces going up there. There's definitely some, I think that's being used as an aerial, an antenna, and it's using the metal shield as an aerial. Let's zoom in and see, because if you have a look in here, you can see that that's the bit that Daniel's included. Right, well, I can see that goes up to the aerial here. So if we were to, and that's just against the shield. So if we go to continuity, and if we go between this little kind of inductory thing here, you often see these blue ones on antennas. Is it going up to here? Yes, it is. Okay, so definitely then that's going to be, so you can see that's the shield there. And I presume this inside one is going to be going to one of these. There, yeah. Right, anyway, let's ignore that. We want to find out what's happening with this switch. Where are you going to? So let's undo this here. That's that. You can see they've put a bit of Loctite on it. Ah, we got a ribbon cable. And where do you go to? You're not connected. What on earth's going on? Ah, right, okay. I think when Daniel put it back together, he forgot about this ribbon cable here. Right, okay, we're getting somewhere now. Let's lift this out. And where should that be? Oh, that's the switch. Let's leave that where it... No, that switch needs to be up this side. Right, let's lift this up here. Is this broken or is this okay? That's okay, and it's got two massive contacts. Right, so let's take this out. I don't know why we've got so many wires here when we've only got two here. I think what it's doing is it's using probably 2 or 3 of them in contact with each other, and then that's a little switch. So we should be able to test the switch on continuity. So are these in contact with each other? Yes, but not these 3. So it looks like it's 3 and 3. Yeah, 3 and 3. Okay, so if we go here and here, there's no continuity. If we hit the switch, there we have continuity. Here, there we go. Switch is working. Right, okay. So we're going to pop this on here. So I put the hidden little ribbon cable that was folded over and not connected to the switch back on the switch, and then I test it on my computer again and it's still not working. But what happens is I'm using the USB lead rather than checking for Bluetooth. I thought it'd be easier just to see if the keyboard's working itself, then I can worry about Bluetooth. But the USB lead that I'm using is a charging only cable. It's not like an original Apple product. I just bought them for Amazon because my kids keep going through iPhone leads. So I just buy cheap braided ones from Amazon, and clearly they mustn't be working for data. They must be just working for charging only and not the data side of things. When I actually try to connect up the keyboard via Bluetooth to my Android phone, it does come up as a diagnostic keyboard. So I'm going to cut to the video now where I've just connected it up to my phone, and we can see what is and isn't working, because I spent about half an hour going back and forth wondering why the keyboard wasn't working on my computer, but I think that was purely down to the lead rather than the keyboard being faulty, because I wasn't testing it on Bluetooth and I wasn't testing it with a lead that does data and charging. Right, good news. I think this may be just a charging cable. Maybe they're not used for data, because you know you have different pins for charging and data. So maybe that's why this isn't being picked up by my computer when I plug it in, because it might be charging only, and we clearly know that this does charge okay. Anyway, I connected up to my phone via Bluetooth and it came up with diagnostic keyboard. I wasn't sure if it was this or another house in the area, so I moved around to different rooms in my house and it still came up with diagnostic keyboard. I tapped it, it asked for it said a pass number. I didn't know whether you did or didn't have to do it, but I put the pass number into here, pressed enter, and then I pressed pair on here and it paired up. And now look, if you have a look here, can you see that it is working? So I can't test O because there's nothing there, but look, L is not working. So I don't know what is or isn't working at the moment, but most things appear to be working. And also look at this now lights up. Yeah, so that's that. Hold down this and question mark works. So yeah, this is, so you can see they're now uppercase. So L definitely doesn't work, and as mentioned in the note at the beginning, O doesn't work either. So these are both next to each other, so I think some sort of liquid damage has happened. So we're going to have to take off this and see what we can see, but at least now the keyboard itself is working, and you can see I can delete as well. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's disconnect the battery and see what we can see around here. The very fact that you can't get access to the membrane is going to cause problems. The reason you can't get access is because underneath the keys there's a metal frame, and that metal frame is riveted onto the metal casing of the keyboard. If it was all screwed on, you'd have access by undoing the screws, but it's all riveted, so you'd have to drill out maybe 100 rivets in order to get access to the membrane, which then sits behind the keys, the plastic membrane. That's not going to happen, because then even if I did drill them out, and I'm pretty sure I did on a very old Apple keyboard that I did years and years ago. The problem is, you see, if you do fix the membrane, you're not going to be able to get that metal thing back on. You're not going to be able to, you'd have to weld every single bit of it. That's not going to happen. So then if you were just to lay it on there or try and glue it on, I think there'd be too much flex when you're using the keys. So in my opinion, the only way to possibly fix the membrane on this to get the keys working is from the top side, because there's just far too much work to get at it from underneath, and even if you did, you're not going to be able to get the metal frame back on again. So you have to just lift the keys and do your best from the top side. I'm just going to show you a bit of the video that I fast forwarded through earlier, where I discovered that that metal frame was riveted on. Well, these are all riveted in, so I haven't got a way of actually getting. This is reminding me of another Apple keyboard that I did ages ago. Yeah, so they're all, and on that one I think I had to drill out every single one. It's a shame they haven't put little screws, but I suppose it costs too much money. It's understandable. So hopefully you can see now why you can't get the membrane out, because it's trapped under here and it's riveted in place. So the only access to the membrane is going to be from underneath the keys. So let's cut to the video now where I'm looking at the membrane underneath the keys to see what's going on, because we have a faulty O and a faulty L. Let's see if we can work out what's happened. Is it liquid damage? Right, so we've got to look at this, and we've also got to look at this as well. So let's try to pop this one off. So we're going to have to try to take this off. How does this work now? Looks like it's clipped in down here. Hold that up. Nope. Well, that's come out there, but incorrectly. That kind of broke its way out. There we go, got it. Yeah, you do just have to force it down over those bits. So I've bent that one quite badly there, but it will go back into place, hopefully. Should be alright. Now, what can I see? Anything? So that goes underneath here. Oh, I broke that. How do you peel that? You peel that away. It can be quite hard to get back in. So I presume the problem lies with this bit of brown here and this bit of brown here. So I don't think that the track, so you can see that we have one coming up here and maybe goes off here to the next one. So there might well be another key that, no, actually that key probably does work. But can you see the underneath one? There's going to be another round pad underneath, and it goes off here. And this one goes off here, and they might even be linked. This one might travel down and come to here, possibly, I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is the problem here, I think. So let's see if we can lift it up. So I think the path can't go through because the track's going to be broken just here. So what I'm wondering is, if I was to cut this off so I have access to it, because there's nothing there. I think I'm going to cut that. Ah, no, so the black's underneath it. So where have we got to now? Where's that? That's under that one. How am I going to get across here? Should I get my grinding pin and grind across here And here, I think I can see the break. You can see there, that's not getting to. I don't know if that's on that bit. I'm not sure if this track is supposed to be on top or underneath, but there's going to have to be a join somewhere that's gone. I wonder, could I just pierce through? Where am I now? Is that underneath that? Can't even see. Can't see if that's underneath that or not. No, it's not, is it? So I should be able to rip that. There we go. So there's nothing on that there either. Now I'm down. Am I down to it? I'm just going to get my probes on continuity. Let's see if I'm down to it now. No, I'm not. You can see the break. It's eaten right through. So now this is going to be going. This is going to be going under here, I presume. Yeah, that's under there. Oh, it's so fine, and I haven't got anything. Everything's too big for it. Need an extremely sharp knife, really. Let me get an X-Acto knife on it. So this goes up to here, so I can't cut through. I feel like a surgeon with blunt tools. So I can't cut through that one here, but if I can cut up to it. Come on. There. And then I need to cut. There we go. Now I'm getting into it. Thought I'd have access to it by now. Am I down to the brown layer yet? The corrosion? I don't think I am. Yeah, so this is different. If you have a look here really closely, you see this here, it needs to hit against, this is the underneath pad. So this one is attached to here, which you can clearly see, but there is a little line going here. So this is not attached to this bit. So I need to run something from here to here without shorting to this, which is a lot easier said than done. I really need to be able to peel this back. I wonder if I have to cut it, peel it, and then rejoin it somehow with some silver conductive paint. But it would be nicer if I could just get under it. But I can't see how that's going to happen, because I think there's another layer underneath here. There we go. I think I've got access. Right, let's go back on continuity. Please let this be it. Result. There you go. And it's not getting to here. It stops here. So something's been spilt on it, maybe some sugary drink or something, or tea or coffee. It's sat there and it's just eroded away. So I need to be able to peel this back. Hold on. Is that on here? Or is that underneath? Have I just broken that there? I've just broken that there now. Okay, I'll have to peel that. So here goes to here, but then breaks, doesn't go up to here. Right, but I've also broken this now, which is going to be awkward because there's another layer here, isn't there, that I have to sort out. I suppose we need to fix this one first. So it's on the underneath, that's what makes it hard. That's on the underneath. So I'm going to have to scrape a bit back. I've made that very hard for myself by breaking that there now. Now that was an understatement. That little rip there, which wasn't intentional, causes me so much bother. Because the problem is, the membrane is painted with conductive paint on the underside. So how do I get to it when I can't get to the underside? So that causes me a huge heap of bother. Anyway, I'm going to skip quite a bit of this because I was on this for probably about 45 minutes. Let me go to the part where I'm going to get the conductive paint out, the silver paint. Let me just try to get the bottom pad working again. With the conductive paint, you've got to put it on and it takes ages to dry, but I usually use a little bit of hot air with it to speed up the drying process, because otherwise you'll have to leave it for a day before it fully goes chalky. It's not conductive when you put it on to begin with, it's only when it fully dries it becomes conductive. It also changes colour a little bit, it goes a little bit more chalky when it's dry. I'm going to skip through quite a bit of this button here because it's ruins. There's no coming back now. I've ripped that top bit there. I will show you me attempting to sort it later. But I managed to do work on the O, which is a lot better. So let me do the O part. But to begin with, I'm just going to show you the silver conductive paint on this part here. But I think it's going to get more interesting when we attempt to fix the O key. Because I've got a bit more knowledge of it now, it's always easier second time in than first time in. Right, so I've got this stuff here, silver conductive paint. Trying to bring it out in a controlled way, or is it all gone rock hard? Right, there we go, way too much. These are still nice and soft. This stuff isn't conductive until it dries. So zoom in, and I'm just going to try to add a tiny little bit with the tweezers onto these bits here. So I'm going to put a load there so you can see it's conducting across there. These are all empty. And I need to put, you can see how little you need. So while I'm waiting for that to go off, let's go on to the key above, because I think now that I know what's happening, I think this next part here goes a lot more smoothly. Okay, well anyway, I'm going to let that one dry. I'm going to turn my attention to this one here. Ideally, now that I know what I know, why don't I get the grinding pen, because we know nothing's here. This is why it's good to watch my video, because I've ballsed up on this here. But now on this one, if I was just to get my grinding pen and go through the 2 layers here, then I now understand how the button works, and I might be able to just put a dot of silver paint here without getting involved in this, and who cares if it's bulbous here. Right, here we go. It's very hard to see how many layers you've gone through though, isn't it? Grinding makes too much of a mess, you can't see what's going on. This one might be slightly easier as well because it goes off in this direction, not up vertical. Now I'm through. So it looks like there's 3 layers to get through. Annoyingly, it's not going up on this little bit here. There's a little hairline crack here. So when that's down, that's going to foul, so I'm still going to have to cut off a bit of that corner like Pac-Man. Really, you need super sharp stuff here, and my tools are just not sharp enough. Alright, so you can see what I've done there. I've cut away that there, so hopefully when the button's pressed it will still make, but it'll give me an opportunity to maybe, possibly, put a little dot of conductive paint between here and here. There, but it's not here. It doesn't go through that crack. Oh, it does there. Oh, it does. Okay. Right, let's just get a tiny bit on the probe. Put on here. Let's see if that there is enough. Bit by bit that should dry, and as it dries we might have continuity between here and here, possibly. Okay, I've just got to be patient now and come back to this in a while. Shall we see if this is starting to have continuity? No, still very soft. Yeah, okay. So I go and have my din-dins, relax for a little bit, add a bit more heat to this every now and then, and let's come back to the video now as the conductive paint is pretty much dry. Okay, I'm not sure if they're fully dry. Often this stuff might take 24 hours. I'm not going to wait 24 hours. I've been adding a little bit of heat to try to evaporate it off quicker. There does seem to be continuity. I'm going to show you that on my meter now. You'll actually hear it beeping. So the top one, I'm confident that it might work, but I'm not sure if the top one will work if the bottom one hasn't got continuity through. I'm not sure if it follows the path through. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not confident that I am going to have a working product at the end, but at least I know now if I was to do it again that this one here with the Pac-Man cutout is going to have a lot more chance of working than what I did down here. The fact of me breaking the top one right across is a nightmare because it's got the contacts underneath. And let's think about it, I can't grind away the plastic at the top, because if I grind away the plastic, then there's nothing left. The silver tracks, the tracks are on the plastic. So it's okay on this one here because I'm applying the silver to the plastic. But if I grind away the plastic here, then it's going to grind away the tracks with it because the tracks are on the plastic. But anyway, if you have a listen. So now, if I go very gently, because I don't want to scrape through it, you see here to here. You see I have continuity now. And between here and here I've got continuity. So with this one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Captain tape on this bit here, and hopefully it will press on this bit here. So you can see how that could possibly be a lasting repair. This is going to be a complete joke. If I get it to do an L at the end of the video, then it will be a miracle. So if I was to put this under here, see if I can get that under there, then you see it's not going to short on the bit that I've cut. It's just I'm worried that if I go under there, I might end up breaking it like I did on the bottom one. Go on, get under. Yes. Are you under? No, you're not. There. Here we go. Right. Now let's get a bit more Captain tape and put it on top of that. Oh, do you know what I'm missing? I'm missing the little membrane. I thought that was it there, but that's one of the feet at the bottom. Oh no, I'm missing the little yeah. Okay, well let's put the one from the L key on here. Oh, so I haven't got one of these anyway. Right, so this is the one that came out originally off the O. That's got a broken bit there. So let's put in the L one. Where do these fit onto? Up here. I think it goes like that and then goes down. There we go. I wonder, is that it? And O. So those bits go at the bottom and those bits go at the top. No, hold on. Which way around do they go? They clip onto there, I think. Not bad. Shall we
just see if it works. Well, I think I should still be on up here. Here we go. Are you going to work? Oh my word. It works! Ooh! Capital. Oh my word, that's amazing. Right, okay. Shall we see if I press down on here whether L would work? No, because it needs to go through. That's so good. Right, okay. Well, that's given me hope. At least we got it working. At least we got the O working. That was the original fault. And let's unplug the battery again. Hope this doesn't cause any bother. That's so good. So really that's it for the video now. If I get the L working, it's just going to be a complete fluke. But the Pac-Man technique on the O, the key above, is definitely a viable option. Yes, it may not last as long as a fully intact key, but it might get you a bit more life out of your keyboard. Now, the reason it works is because by doing the Pac-Man bit, the cutout bit, it allows you to put the silver conductive paint on. So it doesn't matter if that's sticking up 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters, because it's not touching the top pad anyway. There's no way you would be able to keep the top pad intact, because when you put the silver conductive paint on, there's going to be less than 1 millimeter gap in between there. There's probably like a 1/4 of a mil gap in between the top and bottom pad, and it's just going to be shorting all the time. If you know of another way to fix these, which doesn't involve taking out the membrane, I know if you take out the whole plastic sheet with all the tracks on, I know if you were to do that, then of course you'd be able to repair it much better. But because you might be able to put the silver conductive paint on and then sand it back ever so slightly with a bit of wet and dry fine paper just to make it completely flat. But on these sort of keyboards here, that's not an option because they don't come apart unless you're going to drill out every single rivet. So if you know another way of doing it, please put it down to the comment section below. Or maybe if you've seen other videos on these fixes, put it down in the video below. But I believe that Pac-Man fix could be a viable one. Now, when it comes to the key below, purely all I'm doing is adding Captain tape, adding slug tape, that's that copper tape that you see, and adding more Captain tape and a bit of conductive paint, just trying to redo the tracks that I've cut. It's never going to be a good fix. I'm only doing this L purely to show it working possibly at the end of the video, and if it does work, then that is going to be a miracle. But there's no way that this keyboard would actually be used in real life, because even if the L is working, it's probably not going to be working after you hit it 20 or 30 times. While I'm doing this, I'll give a shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive. They are the top level Patreons. The members this month are Keymon Services, Kip Hakes on YouTube, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Russ Melanson, Rickard Bergland, Shamsa Al Sawadi, Stuart Park, Stephen from the Broken Past over on YouTube, Lee Benz, and AJ Computer Services UK. So as always, a massive thanks to each and every one of you. So I'm going to show you it now when it's fully back together. I didn't even bother putting new double-sided tape on the back to stick it back together. I've only just reused what's there already because this keyboard can't actually be used. Even though I have got the L somewhat working, the O is working well, but I have got the L somewhat working, which is a miracle. It's not responsive. You have to press it quite hard. You have to actually press the key down in a certain way on the bottom left to kind of make it work. I've just say it again, I've done it purely for the video, but I do believe the O is a viable fix. So let's cut now to the end of the video when I've got it back together, and I'm going to show you the O and L both working. Right, here it is, it's all back together, and it is a pretty little thing. Obviously, if I had done the L as good as the O, I would put the back on properly. As it is, it's just on with the adhesive that was originally on it. Anyway, it's still connected to my phone because my daughter's out at the moment, and I don't know the password for her MacBook. So as you can see here, it is working. And if I go to caps, you can see here that amazingly, the L and the O are working. I could type L and O all day long. I can't believe, I get that the O is working, but the very fact that the L is working is actually ridiculous. So let me finish up with a little message. There we go. I don't need to say anything else. It is a miracle that that L is working. The O was quite a nice fix, and I would definitely use that technique again. The L, my first attempt, is a complete and utter mess, and the very fact that it's even typed L's at all is a miracle. So I'm taking this as a complete and utter success, even though the product isn't really usable, because the L, it would do your head in. You can't use it. It's working, but you can't actually use it. But still, I think if somebody was watching this and they used the technique on the O, I'm pretty sure, because of that spongy membrane, that the liquid damage will always be around it, the same as my one here, I suppose, depending on how much damage it has. If you've only got 1 or 2 faulty keys, I think it probably is worth, rather than throwing it in landfill, I think it probably is worth popping the keys off and trying to repair it like you've seen in this video. If you have 6 or 7, realistically, it's not going to be worth your time and it's not going to be reliable. But that O there does feel nice, and it does work every single time. So a massive thanks to Daniel. Thumbs up to Daniel. Thank you for everybody who's watched this video to the end, and I will see you all again in the next one. Take care, everyone.